been 486 days since the murder of FBG Duck. He was gunned down in the Gold Coast in broad daylight in one of the richest areas in Chicago, Illinois. And now, 5 oblock members are standing trial for his murder. I've been following this case since the very beginning. I've sat down for an interview with his mom several times. And now, I headed into the courtroom myself to figure out exactly what's going on. Here's a brief recap of everything that happened last week.
This is what a lot of bloggers aren't going to tell you. I'm going to give you the details. I think the biggest thing was Trench's news, which everybody knows if you are kind of paying attention to the FBG Duck case, is, you know, a government informant, and he testified on the stand today. Trench's news points out Kenny Mack a total of 7 times. 7 times. Kenny Mack, that's Kenny Mack, 7 times. He pointed out C Murder a total of 4 times. He also mentioned muwop. He was very, very believable and very, very strong on the stand. Without a doubt, he was saying, "Yep, yes," without a doubt. There was no question that he did not answer without certainty. It's a very, very strong case. I can't see, unless there's a mistrial for some reason, it's going to be very hard because they have so much evidence. I could not imagine what it would be like to get up there and have to do that. It was really, really intense. In my career so far, I haven't covered a murder trial where I actually got to go and sit there. I flew in from where I'm at and came home to Chicago and actually went to the courthouse. It was actually a really eye-opening event. I actually got there after the second break. So when I got in there, that was exactly when Trench's news was actually on the stand getting ready to testify. Martell Wiley, AKA Trench's news, took the stand today. It was really intense. It was something to see. I could not imagine what it would be like to get up there and have to do that. Trench's news is also a blogger that's been covering the drill movement and a lot of the stuff that's been happening on the Chicago music scene for a while. So he wears a mask. He has a popular YouTube channel. He actually is, you know, a government informant, and he testified on the stand today. And he didn't look upset at all. Like, he actually had a smile on his face, a little bit of a smirk. He was kind of nervous. It was one of those wheelie chairs, so he was moving back and forth like this in his chair a lot. It was cold, so he was doing this. He's wearing a green hoodie. And for the first time that I've seen, he does not have his mask on. This is the first time I've ever seen what he looks like. Like, I wasn't surprised that he looked like that, because I thought he would have probably looked like that without the mask. He looks like how you think he would look without a mask, if that makes sense. He had to sit on stand and name each person by name. And they also gave him a yellow marker to circle the person and say their name. So I'm gonna go through a little bit of my notes because they didn't let you bring a phone, no electronics. Like I said, they thoroughly searched you. The only thing that you could have is a notebook. Isn't a notebook pretty? Like a good journalist? Look at this. I went in there like a reporter today. I even wore like stompy heels. I went in there like, you know, on my Carmen Sandiego type shit. So I took my notes so I would remember everything. And let me tell you a little bit about how it was just getting into the courtroom. You got to go through 2 metal detectors. They completely search you. They pat you down. They check every single pocket, even my little pockets in my purse. They smush my purse together. You weren't getting in there with nothing. When you first get in there downstairs, you put everything through a metal detector. You go through a metal detector. And then when you get upstairs to the courtroom, go through the metal detector again. And it's just very intense check. So that was interesting because obviously this is a very high profile case, and there's 2 families that are both in the courtroom. So it was just nice to know that at least they were super, super checking. I know some of you guys actually heard about what happened with Mommaduck. There was a slight mix-up where she was actually going through security, and they actually looked through her purse and found what they found. I know y'all, if y'all heard the story, they found something on her. She forgot that she had it in her bag. You know, this is a high-stressed environment. Her son was she lost her son, and she's in the trial of the murder of her son. So she's, you know, trying to calm her nerves, and she had a little bit of that sticky in her purse, and she forgot to take it out before she got to court. And since it's a federal building, you can't even have anything like that. So whether they wanted to, you know, probably give her a break and let her go, they didn't. They had to confiscate the stuff, and they sent her home for the day. So they have video of everything. They have video of everything. So imagine a courtroom. They got a big, huge flat screen for the audience on the side, so we could see everything really up close. It was crowded. I was surprised how crowded it was. There's a lot of people in there. So today, for the first day that Trenches took the stand, they played the video of the Oblock 5 leaving Parkway Garden, which is Oblock, and coming back. So picture this. Use your imagination. Trenches News is on the stand in a green hoodie. He's a dark skin, kind of like a taller guy. And he's sitting in his chair. He's going like this. It's cold. He's also moving back and forth in the wheelie chair. And they start playing a video. They're playing a video of Kenny Mack, C Murder, and Muwop running up the stairs. And they have timestamps for everything. So they literally went through and they had him, and they would stop, have him identify the person. Next scene, watch a little bit more, stop. Who's this? First person running up the stairs. They freeze frame it and they say, who is this? And Trenches News, aka Marcel Wiley, takes a yellow marker and circles the person and says, that's Kenny Mack. And then next person runs up the stairs, they freeze frame it. They say, who is that? And he says, that's C Murder. He circles it with a yellow marker. The next person running up the stairs, they say, who's that? He says, that's Muwop. He's naming them. He's naming them by their names. So there's no way that there's any confusion about who it was and who we're looking at. So they jumped to the video of them driving back. And then at the screen, they stop it at 4:56 p.m. They got them in Parkway Gardens, right? So a lot of people don't know this. When they were coming back, a cop car actually pulled up behind them. He didn't like pull them out the car and question them about anything that had to do with FBG Duck. After they came back, so allegedly, from what happened, they got pulled over slightly by a police officer. So they turn into Oblock. They're in Parkway Gardens, and then they stop the video and they have Trenches News identifying them there too. And they're going through each person like, so who is this? I like to just, you know, deal with the facts. And today in court, those were the facts. That's what happened today. And not only that, right before Trenches News left the courtroom, they made him swear that he wasn't going to get on YouTube. They made Trenches News promise that he will not make any YouTube videos, that he will not do any interviews, and he will not speak about the case at all until the case is over. So he's in the middle of his testimony. It's going to pick back up on Monday. They're going to continue to go through the footage, and he's going to continue to point everybody out by name and circle them. Not only that, after he left the stand, the defense tried to say that they wanted to put somebody on him to watch him, to make sure that he doesn't do any interviews and that he doesn't do any YouTubes. And then they said, objection, we're not going to do that. We don't have time to do that. We don't have time to babysit him. But if he does do something, we're going to end up seeing it, but we don't want to have to trail him with anything. And then they agreed, and then they dropped that. So they were going to have somebody monitor all of his actions until Monday, but they decided not to. And that was that. That's what happened today.